Hey, how can you grow your business by changing your values? So, how could you use your values as a tool to grow your business? That's what we're going to talk about today. So, that this is a very interesting topic because many people think that when I talk about this, immediate thinking is like, "Oh my gosh, I don't want to change my values. My values are so important for me." Right? That's a thinking process immediately, right? Because you'll be like, "Oh, my values are important. I'm a moral person. Are you asking me to be immoral now? Like, are you asking me to be like a bad person now because I'm a good person now? I'm a I'm a spiritual, good human being. Like, you want me to be irresponsible now? No, that's not what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about how to use your values in such a way that it's actually help you to grow your business. So let me explain what are values beforehand. So this way we have a common reference. In this context, values are states of minds. Values are emotions or states of minds that we were trying to feel. Like, what the heck is that, right? What are states of minds that we want to feel, right? So, if you think about it, in our life, we are not looking for money. We are not looking for cars. We are not looking for um, relationships. What we are looking for is values. So you'll be like, oh my gosh, no, I'm not looking for values. I'm looking for moolah, money, dinare, whatever, however you call it, right? Or ruble. Ruble is the Russian currency, if you don't know. So you're looking for money. But what does money give you? Money give you what? Money give you the freedom to buy anything I want. Oh my gosh, the freedom to buy anything that I want. So that's a value, right? So that's a value. So the freedom, it's a state of mind. You feel the freedom to buy anything that you want. Make sense? Yeah. So money is not what you're looking for. You're looking for freedom in that case. Yeah. You got it? Some people talk about lifestyle business. Oh, I just want a lifestyle business. What does the lifestyle business give you? Lifestyle business will give you what? Will give you lifestyle, right? So what does lifestyle give you? Lifestyle is giving you the freedom to have a lifestyle. So you could travel around the world and do your business. That's a lifestyle business, I guess. That's what you mean. So now, like, no, I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for a Mercedes Benz. I want an S-Class Mercedes Benz, the black one with the, whatever it's called, S550. I think that's called S550. Yeah. So S-Class 550 Mercedes. That's what I want. I don't need no values. And if I were to ask you, you'd be like, why do you want an S-Class Mercedes Benz? I don't know. It makes me feel good. Okay, that sounds good. Okay. But first of all, you went to the feelings, right? You went to the state of mind. But if I ask you deeper, you'll be like, my neighbors are going to say that I'm successful. Oh, so you're trying to feel successful. Do you see that? Or my wife is like, oh my gosh, you're a hero for me. My husband is like, you're amazing. All of a sudden, what happens is people will pursue you in a certain way and you feel successful, you feel accomplished, you feel happy, you feel significant, you feel excited, you feel something. So you are feeling a state of mind. That's what value is. So think about it. Everything that we do as a species, no matter what it is, money or anything that we do, money or sex or relationship or anything that you're looking for, is to make you feel a certain way. So we are feeling species trying to get a specific feeling from somewhere. Yeah, you with me there? Okay. So if we are looking for feelings, those feelings or states are called values. So there are two different types of values. There are values that we are looking for. There are values that you're moving toward. The values, there are positive values. These are the values that you want to have in your life. You want to have success in your life. It's a value, right? You want to have adventure in your life. You want to have adventure. Or you want to have security in your life. You want to feel secure. Oh my gosh, there are people from different parts of the world listen to this video series. And there could be one person who lives in a country where they're looking for, I want to get a government job. A government job will give me security. If I could work for the government, then I don't need to perform. I just do my work for half my efficiency. And then, you know what? I'm settled. I get pension and oh my gosh, my life is settled. Phenomenal. It gives you security. You're not looking for a government job. You're looking for security. Does that make sense? So there are things that you're trying to find in your life. There are values that you're trying to find in your life. There are values that you're trying to avoid in your life. So let's talk about those ones. Let's talk about it. Culturally, humans, we don't want failure. I want to avoid failure. I don't want to deal with failure in my life. I don't want to deal with failure. I don't want to be part of failure, right? I don't want to be part of failure. I don't want to be rejected. I don't want to be rejected. Rejection. I cannot take rejection. Oh my gosh. I cannot stand people who reject me, right? How could they reject me? Oh my goodness. I'm such a nice person. I smile and I have, I have beautiful heart, but still they reject me. So these are the values that you want to avoid. Success, you want to have more success in your life. Rejection, you want to avoid from your life, right? It makes sense. Success, you want to have in your life. Adventure, you want to have. You don't want failure. Makes sense? So there are some values. Yeah, it's too much exercise for me. I'm going to stay somewhere, right? So there are some values that you want to move toward. There are some values that you want to move away from. You with me so far? Okay. So values are state of minds. We are looking for states of minds in our body. You need to feel states of mind. No matter what we are trying to do, we are trying to achieve those states of mind or avoid another state of mind. That's what we are trying to do as species. So if that's the case, there is a story in India, like there are like two wolves fighting with each other. They were pretending to fight with each other. And then all of a sudden, like there's one wolf coming and like hitting the other wolf. And the sheep saw this and sheep is like, oh my gosh, why would you fight with each other? Hi, Subhash. I'll tell you more for sure. Yeah. So why are you fighting with each other? And the sheep actually went to them and said, oh, go away from each other. Don't fight. And they started hitting the sheep from both sides. Right. So one wolf is like hitting the sheep. Sheep is like, hey, stop doing that. And then both started hitting the sheep and they killed the sheep and they ate the sheep. So she became mutton biryani in a few minutes, right? Or lamb biryani or whatever. If it's a lamb, you got the point. But that is exactly what happens for humans. Oftentimes, there's one value that's pulling you one way. You want to be successful, that's pulling you one way, and you want to avoid failure, that's pulling you another way. Now, what happens is you, like a sheep, it's been hit from both sides, and so it's pushing you one way, and it's pushing you another way. And between these two fights, the human being is so confused because one day you wake up and you're like, I want to be successful. The other day, you wake up and they're like, I don't want to fail. Right? Anybody who is successful in their life, in business, in anything that they accomplish, they were willing to fail. Right? Right? They were willing to fail. Because they were willing to fail, they were able to succeed in their lives. Make sense? They were able to succeed because they were willing to fail. So if you're trying to avoid failure as a value, avoid failure as a state of mind, and if you wake up trying to avoid failure for the rest of your life, you will accomplish in that. You would try to avoid failure. But when you try to avoid failure, you don't succeed. Because your full-time job was avoiding failure. Avoiding failure. I want to avoid failure. I want to avoid failure. I want to avoid failure. Hey, Subhash, thanks for your comments, man. I don't understand what you mean by don't speak more. Doesn't make sense to me, but update me. Put that in the comment. I'll be happy to look at it. Okay, so avoid failure. Makes sense? So this is what humans are doing. Right? And we don't know that we are doing this. And then we think that, oh my gosh, if I read a book called a book that is mysterious book. If I read that book and all of a sudden I'm going to be manifesting millions of dollars and Mercedes Benz and then a lot of things into my life. I just need to manifest. I just need to sit and meditate and manifest. Guys, it's slightly more complex than that. Einstein said, we need to make everything simple, but not simpler. There is enough level of complexity for things, right? So if you try to make it so simple and say, I just need to sit in and dream about having this S-Class 550, S550, let it come to the garage, let it come to the garage. And it might actually come to the garage, but it could be a neighbor lost their brake and they basically crash into your garage. Now you have a S-Class Benz in your garage. Now we need to repair the garage, and then probably need to fix some of the things in your garage too. So do you get that? Like, do you understand what I'm trying to talk about right now? But the bottom line is we need to figure out a way to manage these states, like manage these states. These are like biological states, right? These are biological states. What does that mean? It means that there are chemical reactions for success. There are chemical reactions for avoiding failure. And if you are staying in the chemical reaction of avoiding failure, then that's where you are staying. That is the chemistry of your body when you are failing. But if you are staying in the chemical reactions, you have high testosterone, you have high, you have lower cortisols and probably higher adrenaline for a short time. So biologically, you are in a position to succeed. Does that make sense? So now you're like, okay, so what does that mean? Like, I want to be successful. I want to avoid failure. So how do I manage this game? And I go deep into these things in my accelerator business training and my mentoring and the CEO coaching that I do for businesses in 14 different countries now. But I'll try to give you a preview as to how this works. For example, look at this. In order for you to be successful, what should happen in order for you to be successful? Okay, so first of all, find out what is the most important value you are trying to go toward. What is the most important value that you are trying to go toward? Is it success? Somebody's like, no, success. I want to feel love. Another person is, I wanted to contribute to people. I wanted to feel fulfilled. Something else, right? So look at it. Find the most important value for yourself. Find the most important value that you have for yourself. You got it? And then ask the question, what should happen in order for me to blank? What should happen in order for me to feel successful? What should happen in order for me to feel love? What should happen in order for me to feel adventurous? What should happen in order for me to feel secure? So that's a question. That's the moment your brain is going to tell you, oh, if you're 75 years old and then you have this much money and then you have this, you have that, then you are successful, right? That is what I call as recipe. Again, I'll try to touch this a little bit and I'll try my best to convey this idea in a very simple way. So pay attention to this. It's a really powerful, important thing that could dramatically change the way you look at the world. But pay attention to this. So what we are saying is there is a recipe that you have internally for your success. So you have an internal compass. You have an internal recipe that you have for yourself in terms of whether you are successful or not. Depending on that and only that, you are experiencing success. Let me say that again. There is an internal, unconscious recipe that you have for success, for adventure, for fulfillment, for security. And unconsciously, subconsciously, what is happening is you think that if I have this, then I'm successful. Does that make sense? So there is an unconscious recipe. So let me give you an example. Imagine you're making boiling an egg. So what's the recipe for boiling an egg? You need to have a kettle, fill it with water. You take an egg, put it like 3 feet above and drop it into the kettle. No, don't do that. Like bring the egg and put that into the kettle and then boil it for 15 minutes-ish if it's an oven, and then the egg is boiled. Makes sense? Egg is boiled. You got it. That's how it works. That is a recipe for boiling an egg. So, for example, Subhash here, in order for Subhash to be successful, what needs to happen? In order for you to feel successful, what needs to happen? So think about it. What's the recipe? Just like boiling your egg, what are the steps needed in order for you to feel successful? You need to find that out, because somebody over the years, like over the last 20, 30 years, somebody told you, hey, this should happen in order for you to succeed. That should happen in order for you to succeed. This should happen in order for you to succeed. And you believe that, and that's what you believe, but you don't even know what that is most of the time. Isn't that fascinating? Like, something like success is so important for us, and we don't even know like what is the scorecard. Like, we don't even know whether we are successful or not, whether we touch the target or not. Imagine you go for a soccer play or a football play, and then people are like putting goal on each other's goal post, and then nobody knows who won at the end, right? Nobody knows who won at the end. Imagine on Olympics, like there is like the gun goes off, and then everybody's running, and then everybody finish running, and nobody knows like who's the first person to finish the race, who's the second person to finish the race, who's the third person to finish the race. What kind of competition is that? That's the competition that humans live in. Like, we as species, this is where we live, and we think that somehow that something will happen, and then we are going to be successful. And we don't even consciously know what's the recipe for that. Makes sense? It's fascinating if you think about it, right? So first of all, find out what should happen in order for you to be successful. What should happen in order for you to be successful? Whatever it is, find that out. So that's the first step. The second step is to make it easy for you to win the game. Like, make it easy for you to win this game called life, right? You can make it really complicated. You could oversimplify it, or make it really complicated, or make it the simplest possible form. Like Einstein said, make everything simple, but not simpler, right? Make everything simple, but not simpler. So I'm not saying, hey, tomorrow onwards, you just do some meditation, all of a sudden things are going to manifest for you. That could lead into you taking action and things manifesting for you. Probably that is a possible scenario. But other than that, you sit down and find out what are the things that you want to have, like 2 or 3 values that you want to have, and what should happen in order for you to feel those values. Make sense? That's number 1. And then try to make it simple so that you could succeed to the next level. You could succeed easily. You could feel adventurous easily. You could feel fulfilled easily. You could feel secure easily. Make sense? Number 1. And the final thing that I want to share with you today is the opposite. Rejection. What should happen in order for you to feel rejected? If that's a value that you want to avoid, what should happen in order for you to feel rejected? Another thing, what should happen in order for you to feel failure? Like, what should happen in order for you to feel failure? So if you are going to fail, like, what should happen? Like, you should know, right? This is. I mean, imagine you go for cricket. I mean, there are people from some countries, they play cricket, and we don't even know, like, what are those 3 sticks there in the back, right? There are 3 sticks standing up on both sides. Why do they have sticks on both sides, right? 3 sticks, and they have these tiny things on the top of it. And the one guy has something like a wooden thing on his hand, and his mouth is open, and then he's looking like this, and one guy is throwing at him. Why is he throwing a ball at him? Is it not going to hurt him, right? If you don't know cricket, that's what you're going to experience. Just like that, we need to know the game that we are playing in life, what the game that we are not playing in life too. So if you don't want to fail, yeah, I understand. But what should happen in order for you to fail? Because you need to understand that so that you could avoid that more effectively. Make sense? And make it more difficult for you to fail. In your own mind, consciously. Because you didn't sit down one day and decide, obviously, you didn't sit down one day and decide, okay, if I lose this much money, then I'm a failure. If I lose this much thing, then I'm a failure. If this happens to me, I'm a failure. If my husband leaves me, I'm a failure. If my kids get angry to me, then I'm a failure. My cousins do a mistake, I'm a failure. You didn't decide that, did you? You didn't sit down one day and said, oh, these are the protocols and the recipes, the 7-step process to fail. No. This happened to you. Somebody said, somebody made you believe, somebody told you, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And then you took on that belief. That's what happened. So sit down and find out what's your recipe for failure. What should happen in order for you to fail? What should happen in order for you to fail? And find that out. And then what you do is make it more difficult for you to fail. Using the recipe, make your recipe more complex intentionally. This sounds like a very abstract idea in the shallow, if you think about it in a very shallow way. But if you think deeper, you will understand that like these are the same strategies that I used to help Silicon Valley executives, senior professionals, business people doing like millions of dollars in different countries. These are the same strategies that I use to help people who are really successful. I haven't taught these things before. The reason was because I was too lazy. I didn't want to get on video and teach people, right? So because I was helping people privately in one-on-one coachings, and for more than a decade, almost 12 years now, 12 or 13 years now. So whatever I taught these people, I'm sharing with you through Facebook or YouTube or wherever this is going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 places or 8 places or something. So it's going to so many other places. If you're listening from whatever country you're listening, people from Nepal, India, US, Canada, other places listening, you could use this to radically transform your life. If you don't understand heck about what I'm saying, one, you need to get trained on listening to a British accent. I'm kidding, but yeah, if you don't understand some of these things, I understand that. Go back and listen to this video again. Like instead of going and skipping to a video about elephants or some silly videos, go watch this again. Not for me to have so much watch time on Facebook, but for you to really understand your inner psychology. You're playing a game of football without knowing the rule of the game. You're playing a game of cricket without knowing what the heck you're playing. Because this, as a species, we lost the decoding mechanism. Somebody told me, someone else told them, and someone else told them, this is what you need to feel in order for you to be successful. This is what you need to feel in order for you to be a failure. This is what you need to do in order for you to feel rejected. You can change that. You can consciously change that. So that is a human. We're not monkeys. We have the consciousness to change what states that we want to feel. So that's the topic about values. So in order for you to grow your business to the next level, to change your values, one is that find out what is really important for you. And if you are living based on those values, if you're living those values, and then find out like what should happen in order for me to feel successful, that's a value. Or what should happen in order for me to feel failure, that's a value too, right? So, and find out what it is. And for success, make it easy for you to succeed. For failure, make it more difficult for you to make it more difficult for you to fail. And that's a point you're going to succeed and grow to the next level in business. If you haven't gotten my free productivity training, go to rublechandy.com, get my free productivity training. If you haven't gotten my book, 90 Days to Life, you can go to Amazon, search for 90 Days to Life, and that actually talks about a lot of these things. It became an international bestseller, and I'm actually going to put the link for 90 Days to Life in the chat, and you could go there and get that, and then you could actually get the free training on my website on how to grow your productivity, how to be more productive in an uncertain world, by going to rublechandy.com. That is RUBLECHANDY.com, and then and go celebrate your life, grow your business to the next level. Look forward to seeing you next week. Talk to you soon. Bye. Thanks.